I would like to thank Caressa McKnight for sending me this story. As many of y'all know who this is in this image, that is the disgraced Allison Mack. And the update for her as of right now is that the judge has refused to delay the trial for her involvement in this sex cult that's going on. To that I say good, because it seems like they have been delaying the inevitable for this chick and the people involved for far too long. And now the last video I did about this was talking about that other woman, I think somewhere in New York, who had involvement with this as well. And she, I guess, is going on trial, or they are having her under investigation, something like that. But they said that they're no longer delaying it. Whatever trial date we have set for her is the one that they're going to go with. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article coming from CBS New York. It says, a judge has denied a request by TV actress Allison Mack for more time to negotiate a plea deal in the sex trafficking case against an upstate New York self-help group. Lawyers for Mack had asked federal judge Nicholas Garofis to delay a trial that's set to begin next month. Mack is best known for her role playing a young Superman close friend in the CW network series Smallville. Prosecutors have accused her of recruiting sex slaves for Keith Raniere and his cult-like organization called NXIVM. Raniere has pleaded not guilty to conspiracy charges. Two members of his inner circle have pleaded guilty, while Mack and two other co-defendants are seeking separate trials. There was no immediate response to a message on Saturday seeking comment from one of Mack's lawyers. On Friday, Lauren Salzman, that was the woman that I was talking about, quietly pled guilty to conspiracy charges. She entered the plea at a hearing that wasn't on the court calendar. Afterward, a judge agreed to seal a transcript until parts of it could be blacked out. The U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment on Friday about how the plea was handled. Salzman, age 42, was one of the four co-defendants on conspiracy charges, along with Seagram's heirs Claire Bronfman, Kathy Russell, and Nancy Salzman. Authorities say Raniere ran a secret society of sex slaves who were branded with his initials, with help from Mack and liquor heiress Claire Bronfman. Now, it's crazy because the people that are involved with this are people who have status. These aren't some broken down people who are looking for a come up. It says, Allison Mack was an actress. One of them was an attorney. This other one is an heiress to a liquor brand. Like, these are people who make or made millions of dollars. So it makes you wonder what would make them attach themselves to this. But it's no different than the whole collar scandal going on, where you had CEOs and actors and actresses and other well-to-do people who were doing this as well. Let's see, where did I leave off? It says, prosecutors allege a subgroup branded brainwashed victims with Raniere's initial during initiation ceremonies that turned them into his sex slaves. Raniere's attorneys say in court filings that women were never coerced to have sex, and the branded women were never held down against their will. A second indictment adds racketeering charges involving conspiracy to commit identity theft, seeking to get the email usernames and passwords of Raniere's critics and enemies, using credit card and banking information from one of Raniere's sexual partners after her death in 2016. Bronfman pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy in Brooklyn federal court in June. Kathy Russell, Lauren Salzman, Nancy Salzman, and Bronfman were arrested on a superseding indictment charging them with racketeering conspiracy. The document gave some insight into other rituals and practices of the group, which authorities say grew out of previous enterprise called Executive Success Programs Incorporated, founded in 1998 by Raniere and Nancy Salzman. Every year in August, the group members celebrate Vanguard Week in honor of Raniere's birthday. Nancy Salzman is referred to as the prefect by NXians, and her birthday is celebrated in May with the Festival of Flowers. The complaint also described women's roles in the empowerment group compared to the men, and especially Raniere as its leader. NXIVM was the topic of a CBC News broadcast called Uncover Escaping NXIVM, focusing on Canadian actress Sarah Edmondson's experience with and leaving the group. They just need to hurry up and throw this chick in jail. Throw them all in jail. All the ones that were involved. And it's amazing because in this era or this moment of Me Too, you would think that they would completely blow this way out of the water. But as you can see, it's still being anchored to that ocean floor. And not only that, but this whole situation needs to definitely be more out there than what it is. That's why I wish we had our own solid media like a CNN or MSNBC, because we would make sure stuff like this stays out there in the forefront for as long as it possibly can. And we would tell it from all angles. We won't just cut corners and tell half truths. We're going to tell it all raw and uncut. But we'll see what the outcome of is for this chick, and not only her, but everyone else involved. Because, you know, I have to also give kudos to Harvey, because he was the one that brought this to a lot of our attention, because we didn't know. First off, I didn't watch Smallville, so I didn't even know who this chick was before he even mentioned who her name was. So I wouldn't have known who she was either way. But learning now what she was involved in, and when I remember seeing those first images of those brandings, I was like, wow, they were treating them people as if they were cattle. You know how when you brand like when people brand their horse or something like that, to let it know that that's their property. That's what they were doing. They created a branding iron, and they would brand people on their body with the initials. Like, that is some sick shit, and it definitely should be talked about more widespread. But I'm sure there will be more updates to come from this. And when they do, I will be sure to talk about it. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.